Hey everybody, welcome back to No Jumper News. It's Adam22 here with your man AD. Let's get right into these stories. So, first story. Tory Lanez and his defense team are reportedly in meaningful discussions about reaching a plea deal in his case surrounding last year's Meg Thee Stallion shooting. LA County Deputy District Attorney Kathy Ta told Rolling Stone that the parties were in a possible settlement discussion. If a plea deal is not met by November 3rd, preliminary hearings will kick off in December and witnesses will start being called upon. As we previously reported, Tory was charged last October with a felony assault with a semi-automatic firearm and carrying a loaded, unregistered firearm in a vehicle after he allegedly shot Megan in the foot following a heated argument. His defense attorney, Sean Hawley, also told Rolling Stone that the team plans to maintain its position of Tory being innocent if the case does go to trial. As in every case, the lawyers for the parties discussed the possibility of resolving the case. This case is no different. That said, our position as to what did and did not happen in this matter remains unchanged, and Mr. Peterson's plea of not guilty stands. Last month, TMZ reported that a judge had increased Tory's bail after violating the protective order granted to Meg Thee Stallion when he appeared on the Rolling Loud stage in Miami to perform with the baby. His bail was increased from $190K to $250,000. During the hearing, the judge adjusted his bail conditions to state that Tory can no longer attend events where Meg will be. If he violates this mandate, he will be taken into custody. Last week, Tory was trending and had the internet going crazy after he tweeted out, "It's been real," and cleared all the posts from his Instagram, sparking many fans to believe that he was possibly going to jail. All the speculation was put to rest, though, when Tory reappeared on social media the next day to confirm that he was not in jail or on house arrest before announcing his new 80s-themed album, Alone at Prom, dropping on December 1st. Okay, so big update in terms of this Tory Lanez case. You would think that they wouldn't be so open to taking him to trial if they were confident in their case. It would appear that maybe they're not as confident as it once seemed. This opens the door to all kinds of weird situations that could happen. The main thing that I'm wondering is, will Tory be basically like accepted back into the industry, or at least accepted by, the streaming services or all the corporations that have kind of cut him off if this doesn't actually end with a guilty plea?
If he does not get a guilty plea, I can see everybody in hip hop running back, trying to work with him. I can see companies trying to work with him and shit like that. And if I was him, fuck them all. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't accept me and you thought I was guilty, you thought I was doing this, and whatever the situation may be, hey, you got to stand on that shit. And the way that this shit's playing out, I called it a long time ago. It seems like it's not as cut and dry as everybody thought it was.
But if that is the verdict, do you think that the people will actually accept him back? Like, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are still going to end up looking at Tory like he's guilty of this regardless, and it's very hard to imagine that corporations would necessarily flock back to him if the result of the case is sort of vague.
I think they already accepted him back. To me, it seemed like his career is bigger than it ever is.
The fans, I would agree. The fans, his fans in particular, have accepted him back. But as far as corporations, as far as sponsors, that kind of thing, that's a little bit harder for me to imagine.
Well, if you're not proven guilty in the court system, why wouldn't you give him playlisting and give him everything that he deserves if he didn't do it?
But there's all kinds of people who've been accused of stuff that were never found guilty that basically get treated as if they were, formally guilty. So I don't really know why that would change things so much just because he has, sort of a hard to wrap your head around verdict in terms of this case. I don't know. It's just going to be really interesting to see where this goes. I mean, it's going to be more interesting if it goes to trial, which seems like there's still a significant chance of that. I mean, Tory's still going to get hit with some kind of charges, I guess, since he had an unregistered firearm on him and everything. But if he does not get found guilty, it's going to be a very, very interesting time within rap music. Even though, I mean, really, when you think about it, people like Drake, all these big ass superstars are still fucking with him. I guess really the most interesting thing is what that does to Meg, because if he doesn't end up, sitting in jail for 8 years, then I feel like almost everybody in rap music is going to be looking at Meg like she's a liar. And that's going to really put the onus on her to basically tell the world what her side of the story is.
And I think more people are more interested on what happened versus, what they're hearing and shit like that. Like, I see the comments, people are just nosy as fuck, and they really want this shit to go to trial, which is this is entertainment for motherfuckers at this point. The act of what happened or what didn't happen now, I think people are long over the shit, and hey, it is what it is.
I mean, you really think about it, the fact that we're still talking about this after 2 years is pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, hey, he got a new album coming out in December.
Muskop.
Next story. MGK seems to have gotten into another random fight, this time with a concert goer while performing at the Louder Than Life Festival in Louisville on Saturday, and then denied that everyone at the show was booing him. Video shared on social media showed two concert goers who had hopped over the barrier coming close to MGK while he was performing in the photo pit. One of the men allegedly pushed MGK before security can get to him. A fight seemingly broke out. Security eventually got involved, and apparently MGK threw a punch. Though it was unclear if he landed from the video, MGK managed to finish performing the rest of his set and then received mixed reactions from the crowd, with some booing him as he returned to the stage. And another viral video from the festival, the crowd can be heard chanting, "You suck," before rolling into an endless chorus of loud boos. The video also shows a section of concert goers holding up the middle fingers directly at MGK's stage. Despite videos showing otherwise, MGK slam reports that he was booed off stage, tweeting, "I don't know why the media lies their narrative against me all the time, but all I saw was 20,000 amazing fans at the festival singing every word and 20 angry ones." His response included a video shared by a fan closer to the stage, showing a large part of the crowd enjoying themselves during MGK's set. Although supporters said he identified as a Slipknot fan, he maintained the narrative about MGK being relentlessly booed off stage was exaggerated. The crowd's response to MGK's performance likely stems from his trashing Slipknot at another music festival earlier this month, where he called the band old weird dudes with masks and told the crowd he was happy he wasn't 50 years old wearing a fucking weird mask on a fucking stage.
Okay, well, in my opinion, what's going on here is that MGK is biting off a little bit more than he can afford to bite off, because, I mean, people don't know this maybe if you're not like really wrapped up in the metal world and everything, but Slipknot are a beloved band, and if you talk shit about them, especially in this kind of environment at these big ass rock festivals that have all these legendary metal bands and stuff like that, it's not going to go over that well, especially when you consider that probably a lot of those people who go to those kind of shows are looking at him like he's a tourist. Like, oh, weren't you a rapper a year or two ago? I don't know. I don't think him dissing Slipknot is a good idea, even if you are familiar with exactly why they had a falling out or why they had issues. I don't think MGK wants smoke with Slipknot because they hold way more respect than him in terms of the community that he's now courting attention from.
Why is he dissing the mask though?
Because, okay, I will explain this to you. Basically, the dude from Slipknot was supposed to have a verse on MGK's album. He sends the verse through, MGK doesn't like the verse, and then they basically recorded a reference track and sent it back to him and were like, can you do something more like this? He didn't appreciate the idea of somebody wanting to basically, write for him. So he said, nah, I'm cool. And then we didn't hear anything about it until MGK dissed him on stage. And that's why apparently he's getting a little bit of a negative reaction at this festival.
Yeah, that's kind of weird because you would think like you get a verse from a legacy artist, man, is sacred. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, the fact that you want to work with me to begin with anyway is an honor. So just to be like, I don't want your fucking verse. And you're just like coming into this genre of music as well. It's like you're telling a legend basically like you're trash now and you're dissing the mask now. You're doing all of that shit. It don't seem too good.
And the guy from Slipknot posted up a screenshot of the messages, and it was actually Travis Barker explaining to him that this is why MGK wants you to redo your verse. He didn't like the way that this came out, etc. So it's pretty funny that Travis Barker had to be the in-between of this conversation even taking place. But one thing I will say is that we've seen a lot of this sort of like information warfare where you have different people filming videos to try to make it look like people's shows sucked. We've seen people do this to Coil Ray nonstop, because it's totally possible that you could have, like MGK said, you could have 20 people basically singing along and fucking with you, and then have 20 people who are booing. And if you're standing near those people while you're filming, all you're gonna hear is boos. But we don't really know what the reaction actually was like. Although I would assume that when you have that many different metal fans, that probably a good chunk of them are not gonna be big on what MGK is doing anyway.
Slipknot, come get put on, and we'll change the band to Kryptonite, and we'll go after MGK.
That's brilliant. YouTube, do us a favor, like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you want us to talk about tomorrow, and we'll be back real soon.